March 2nd meeting for vote.
I motion to have it moved to the March 2nd meeting for vote. Ordinance 2/2016.
Amy, please poll the council.
There was no second.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is there a second?
No. I'm going to second that. I did last time.
Mr.
No, there's no second. I guess motion dies.
The motion to carry dies, right? Unless you step down, like you did.
The same thing we did. Okay. I'd like to relinquish my presidency to someone on council.
This is for moving
It has to be
ordinance.
Yeah. The only way it would work is if Mr. Tompkins took the chair.
I'm not interested in that tonight.
So you need to have then a motion to approve or disapprove the ordinance. You need a first and a second, and then if the motion, if it fails, either substantively or procedurally, you'd have to start over. You could reintroduce it, but you'd have to start over.
At a later time, you're saying start over.
Well, you could introduce it again at the next meeting.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 2/2016?
Okay, are we motioning it now, or? Okay, I motion to approve the ordinance 2/2016.
Is there a second? Motion.
Right, so it dies. You'll have to start over. Amy, was this advertised?
Yes, it was.
So if the council's will to start over, you'll have to pay to re-advertise it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Andy.
Yes.
I don't want to.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
But now that now that it's been moved, could Norma step down? And
It's been what? Moved?
Norma introduced it, correct?
Yeah.
Motion. Could she step down?
As what?
He's saying step down off of
Step down and could Jason step down and she become council president?
I don't know. I'd have to look at the bylaws. I think you have to start. I don't think so. I don't think you could do that in the middle. I think you have to start in the beginning, Mr. Mayor. I see what you're saying. It's very creative, but yeah. Creative.
Moving on. Ordinances for introduction. Ordinance number 3/2016, an ordinance of the Township of Pemberton establishing the residency, hiring criteria, and preference for the selection of police officers for employment with the Township of Pemberton. Is there a motion to introduce this ordinance?
And this is just changing a couple minor words in the ordinance that we passed recently, and this is per the request of the state, correct?
Civil service, correct.
Then I'll make that motion to introduce ordinance 3/2016 for residency of the police department hiring.
I make a motion for ordinance 3/2016 for the establishing a residency hiring criteria.
The public hearing at the March 2nd meeting.
Oh, public hearing, okay. Public hearing March 2nd. Okay.
Amy, please poll the council.
Mr. Tompkins?
Yes.
Ms. Trueblood?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Tree.
Okay. The discussion for the Rancocas Creek?
Tree. For what?
The Rancocas Creek development?
No, the tree.
No, the tree.
The tree comes first.
You're on new business.
Oh, I'm sorry. Jack, new business, A2.
Yes, I looked at the Christmas tree, and I understood after reading everything that this is to replace the Christmas tree that had been over by the lake every year and was not available this year. And I looked at the two quotes that Rec Center had got, and they looked, actually the one that's on this agenda doesn't look unrealistic, listening to Mr. Shaw explain how much his tree was when the Lions Club purchased it, if I remember correctly. But my big issue on this is I'm surprised we didn't go out to bid for something that costs this much money. Instead of just asking quotes from a couple of vendors, I would have preferred this to see go out as an open bid and solicit other vendors to provide us with the best pricing.
Well, it's under the bid threshold. So the bid threshold's 17.5,
Okay.
just under law.
Just wondered
Under
if
the
you're to keep me out of jail.
No, it's a good question. Under the local public contracts law, bid threshold 17,000.
I would still like to see more than just two bids on this. I really would.
Are you saying that just because you don't think $12,000 is good when the other company came in at $17,000?
I previously said I thought this was a reasonable price.
So why would we go back to bidding, you're saying, for other companies?
If I see 12,000, I think that's great, okay? But I'm kind of wondering, one was 12, one was 17. I'm wondering if maybe we could pull something in for 10. I know it's only $2,000, but it's $2,000 of taxpayer money.
Minus the costs as well. You have to advertise, create specs, that kind of thing, so there is a cost.
If Mr. Council President, if I may, the Recreation Department Director had advised us that this low price was good only to the end of February. So if it's not done in February, I don't know, we can expect this price to be available thereafter.
Well, is there a motion to approve under new business 14A2?
I mean, I looked at it over and I see where there's two companies that came in, and one is at 17, the other one at 12, and then I was looking at all the specifications on it, what's going to be part of this tree, and listening to what before was said about how the cost from when the Lions Cup and all that. I mean, I don't know how much we could continue, but at this point, I don't see that it's a high, like Councilman Jack said. It's a good price compared to the other, and if it's there, and we might not be able to lock it in at that price. What if anything else comes in higher than this, and we don't have it? So I'm at a crossroad right here, but I think we should go ahead and do the purchase of this tree. And I know some are opposing it because of the cost, but it's something that I think we might look into getting, especially since it's going to go out in the end of February.
Yeah,
And I believe if the director went out and did as much I mean, you could see research was done on this.
If we do purchase this tree in the past, and I'm kind of new at some of this stuff, so forgive me if I have any of my facts wrong, and please correct me because I'm sure you will. In the past, the Lions Club put up the tree previous to this year, and I believe it was always done, or mostly done by volunteers. Who will be putting up this tree if we purchase it?
Originally, the Lions Club put the tree up with the members and volunteers that would assist us. At that time, I was a member when we purchased the tree and we were putting it up. But the membership started to mature, and there was also some lack of interest, and it got to the point where we started using township workers to assist. And then it got back to the Lions Club again, you know, helping more, and then the volunteers would come out again. And when I refer to volunteers, most of those volunteers were firefighters. They were part of our firefighter volunteers that would come out and help. And there was a few residents that would come out. But generally, you know, the volunteers in the Lions Club did it, but the township has used employees to do it. If and when we replace the tree, township employees will put up the trees. Doesn't take that long to put up with the knowledge of how to do it and the right, you know, equipment. You know, it takes a couple hours and it's done. But we would do it.
So
After we put the tree up, where will the tree be stored?
I was just gonna ask.
That's what I was thinking too, Jason.
We would store it in one of our facilities. We have space currently in our Leicester Street facility, which was the old Water Division. So that's probably where it's the closest building to the site. So that's probably where we'll end up storing it.
Is there a motion to approve?
I motion to approve.
Let me ask, I'm sorry, we'll hold that. Just, Dave, you probably talked to Paula, so let me ask a question on this panel tree. This is actually a round tree, it's not a flat tree, correct?
Correct. The panel tree is a framework of square stock tubing that comes in sections. There are 4-foot sections and about 4
But that's
foot.
the other vendor though, Dennis, that's why the vendor we're purchasing for doesn't show something
Yeah.
like that.
And when you assemble all the pieces, it creates a circular or cylindrical, whatever you would call
So
it.
the appearance would be very similar to the tree that we had before.
It is the tree that we had before. It would just be, actually, I believe this one is maybe a section taller.
You answered my question. I'll second it. Norma?
Amy, please poll the council.
Mrs. Trueblood?
Yes.
Mr. Tompkins?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Discussion and possible introduction of ordinance accepting dedication of roadways within the preserve at Rancocas Creek Development.
What are you reading? Oh, never mind.
Counselor, is there any discussion? I did take a drive through the development yesterday on the roads mentioned in the ordinance or possible ordinance. All the roads look good.
This is the development behind Sunbury?
Yes.
Oh,
Very nice
yeah.
development.
It is.
I mentioned, I asked administration earlier whose responsibility was it previous to this ordinance being drafted, and it was the developer. So if there are any discussion.
I have one question. And you said you just went out there, so I don't know if it's still out there or not, but I know when you go in there, they have signs saying private property.
Okay.
If we're maintaining the roads and stuff like that, would that change that, where they would have to remove those signs?
Well, the roads, we end up, once the ordinance is passed and the time period has, the estoppel period has passed, we will own the streets.
Okay.
That's what the dedication means. And we're required to accept the streets as long as the streets are built to our specifications. That has been confirmed through engineers, etc. And they've posted maintenance bonds, and that's been to council before. Yeah, we will be responsible for maintaining the streets. We will own the streets. We will be responsible for maintaining the streets. We're responsible for the street lighting as well as snow removal.
How are the drains? And I ask that question because it seems to be a reoccurring issue I hear throughout the town, that there's drainage problems.
We're working pretty good out there.
At the development, you mean? At the development?
Can't,
President of the HOA, that's not technically, but I am the president of the HOA out there. All the drain water management has been taken care of by the builder. It's perfect after it was re-engineered. There's no problems.
our engineers have been on it. We have made sure that we've held the we've held the developer, to the standards that not only that we approved, but also the changes that were necessary as we went along and found out there was other issues going through the project, and they've made quite a few changes to make this project work. And your comment about the private property, so we're clear, there is property within the development that is open space that belongs to that will belong to the HOA and be responsible to the HOA. So there still will be private property within there, development. It's just the roads will be public.
My thought is if they're paying taxes, then we should maintain roads.
Well, we have to by law.
Yeah.
Right. And ARH has recommended that we accept those.
But I still need to do my, ask the question just so that I know that
Sure.
I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, or think. I don't have any problem with it.
So if we introduce this would be ordinance number 4
Correct.
dash 2016. Is there a motion to introduce this ordinance, an ordinance of the Township of Pemberton accepting the dedication of the roadway within the preserve at Rancocas Creek Development?
I motion ordinance number 4, 2016, introduction of accepting dedication of the roadways within the preserve at Rancocas Creek Development.
I'll second that.
With a public hearing at March 2nd.
Oh, sorry, with a public hearing
That's
of
okay.
March 2nd. Thank you.
I can just announce this.
Thank you.
Amy, please poll the council.
Ms. Trueblood?
Yes.
Mr. Tompkins?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Bill list?
Bill list by budget code, page 16. I believe the budget code is, if I'm reading this right, 601-26315-000-251, and it's the last two line items for creek side mirror and glass. And it looks like $285 for left passenger window of fire 1612, and windshield for fire vehicle 1831 for $1,395. It looks like they were submitted within a week of each other. So I'm just kind of curious how two windows and fire vehicles can get broke out within a week of each other.
Well, we have fire chief.
Well,
Rick,
it
can you
does
please come
happen.
forward?
We do have the chief here. We can bring him up to explain, but I can explain the 1831. There's a crack on the windshield on the far right side, passenger side of the windshield that developed and worked its way into the windshield, and there was no known cause actually determined. Nothing was struck or hit it that we know of.
Could have been the
But-
defroster warming it up too
could-
much when it was cold.
It could have been something,
Pressure
pressure in the framework or something that caused it to crack, like you say, temperature change. Now and Chief, you're gonna have to refresh my memory because the 1612.
That's our spare vehicle that's at the Brownsville station. Just to go back to the 1631, that was the second time.
1830.
Well, because that's their coding system. That's the municipal, that's how the fleet maintenance keeps. 1831, that's the second time that happened, and Creekside tells there was some type of mount defect in that glass. That's actually the second time we replaced that window, and they said that the way the vehicle, somehow the window was put in, or the windshield, they said it was actually a manufacturing or a defect in that type, because we were kind of curious as to why that happened. Again, exact same location.
Are we going back to the vendor to inquire about that?
That vehicle was purchased in 2000. That's the former Presidential Lakes vehicle. So it's just like the other vehicles we have. There's no warranty with that.
Well, sometimes they might have a solution so that we're not replacing windows all the time.
I'm not in charge of fleet maintenance. I don't know if they investigated that. I'm sure they did. Creekside did tell us it was some type of issue with the glass. So, but the 1612 is rather a mystery because we found that everybody said they were not sure. I think the door was slammed, and that's what we think. But it actually didn't even shatter. we went to do a check on the truck, and we noticed that there's a left window ain't frosted, and when we opened the window, it was shattered, so we don't know.
Was it stored inside or outside?
They're all inside, yeah. So something could have happened en route to a call that we didn't see, and then somebody, when they closed the door, maybe they closed it too hard. But the funny part about it, it didn't like break. So when we were
That's
doing our
safety glass.
right, when we were doing our inspections, we said that window looks odd, and so we stopped, we secured it, called DPW in the morning. They came down. In fact, they thought something else was wrong. They touched it and it just disintegrated.
All right, I think you can understand, 2 windows within a week kind of makes you wonder what's going on.
A lot of things I don't understand. So we do ask questions. We're as due diligence as we can. We're very conscientious about money that is spent. It's like what's on the agenda tonight, those things. But unfortunately, with fire trucks, when you're going to calls, we go down some of our roads that have branches and so forth like that. So it's the business that we're in.
And I figured the fire, you might have a hose, something, whack it, whatever, accidents happen. But then again, sometimes people horseplay and do other things too.
Well, I would say this, that I have enough confidence in our personnel that if the window was broken and they broke it and it shattered, I would have been notified right away. We have a process. I think what happens when for some reason when they closed it, it did its job and didn't fall down. We discovered it during an inspection.
Okay.
Because we routinely inspect our vehicles.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the bill list.
The
Does
two
he have
items.
to-
The 2 items, sorry.
That you
We've already approved it.
Does he have to restate the numbers of, okay.
Well, it's the reference to numbers that
Yeah, we've talked about it.
Councilman Tompkins pulled earlier.
Is there a second?
I second.
Amy?
Mr. Tompkins?
Yes.
Mrs. Trueblood?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Solicitors report?
I have nothing this evening.
Mayor and business administrator? The engineer is not.
If there's any questions.
No, oh, you said nothing? Sorry. Council members?
No, I have nothing, just to say thank you everyone for coming out, and it's been a hard time with our loss of our Councilwoman Stinney, and that she will be truly missed. So have a good evening, and everyone get home safe.
Thank you.
And normally, to continue on, I don't know how many times I've thought of Diane. I really miss her. One thing that I think Ms. Waters brought up tonight, I used to come in here and talk a lot during public comment, and one night Mrs. Stinney pulled me off and she said, not everything's bad. There's always a little bit of good in everything. And it made me start to think, and I started to try to think of one good thing to say every night when I come up here to say it. And she really made me conscious of that, and I tried to continue doing that all the time when I come up here. And I actually went over to the borough to address their council and thank them for some of their services. And one of the gentlemen there, he said, yeah, I do know who you are. You're always the one guy that has a one positive thing to say before he starts into everything else. So I think she made a positive change in my life in some of the things I say and think. And for that, I thank her. At the beginning of the month, I had the pleasure of coming to the Veterans Advisory Committee. I sit in here as a council member and as a veteran, and I listened to the gentlemen and ladies, and it was very informative. I've been a member of this community for a long time, and I knew the committee existed, but I always thought it was kind of like a closed group, but it's actually open to any veteran in the community to attend. And I believe it's the first Tuesday of every month. Is that right, Mr. Cathers? At 4 o'clock right here.
That's correct. 4 o'clock on the first Monday of every month.
Monday or Tuesday?
The great meeting is on the first Monday. The actual monthly meeting without the great meeting is on the Tuesday.
Okay, so the open meeting would be the second, or the Tuesday. Okay, thank you. At the last meeting, there was one thing brought up They are selling pavers. I believe they're $100 a piece. They're also selling T-shirts for, I believe, $15 a piece. And part of those funds will go to a new memorial over at the Memorial Park, and it will be for the Gold Star members. I'm kind of wondering, Mr. Mayor, maybe you talk to the business guys and all the money. I know the memorial is going to be about $1,500. I was wondering if maybe the township could kick in a little bit to support that effort. And again, I want to thank everybody for coming out. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. I'd just like to inform the public that council received the budget books last Friday. The budget is on the township website if you're curious and you have some time to go ahead and review it. I personally have not reviewed the budget yet, but I did read through the 2016 budget message by administration. Very informative. I look forward to delving down into the budget and reviewing it with administration and any council member that would wish to sit with me to look at it. Again, I have not looked at it, but given the budgets that we've received the last couple years, I'm assuming that this too will be another responsible budget presented by administration. So we shall see. That being said, I look forward to seeing you all at the March 2nd meeting. Thank you for coming out. Motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
I